Welcome to Trial by Wine. We take a closer look at crimes that highlight how fascinating humans can be. Schmidty, Swanee and Clarkey visit crimes and run them through their jury of three, debating both sides of the case to agree an appropriate, if totally fictitious, sentence. Please be advised, Trial by Wine may include explicit or disturbing content and will include drunken rambling. Listener discretion is advised. All right. Great to see you guys. It's been a little while. How are we?
Very well, thank you. How are you guys? Good?
Hello, me lovelies. Yes, we're good.
You're right.
Very good.
I'm very good. I'm very, very good.
All good here. Oh, yeah, actually.
So, how's your week been? I'll start then, because Carla's still
I
thinking.
can't think of anything. I've gone totally blank. I'm trying to remember what day it was. I'm so embarrassed. Oh, God.
I know it's going to surprise you both, but I was at the houseboat.
Hmm.
Dun, dun, dun.
Wow.
Enter sound effect. Well, we took it out because I thought we had a leak in it. We can't find the leak. It's an enigma wrapped in a
Riddle.
puzzle and a riddle. That's right.
That's it.
Whatever that
Something, yeah.
thing is.
That
yeah.
one.
It's a thing in a thing in another thing. Can't work it out, but luckily for Australia Day, Tony and I went up to Echuca and bought some plastic pontoons just on the off chance we might need them. It turns out we do need them. So we're going to pop them in before we put the boat back in next week. I also had a fabulous girls' weekend. We'd organised this months in advance, and I said, oh, look, I'm really sorry, but the boat's out of the water. And they're like, we don't care, we're still coming. And so Friday night, between three girls and Tony, for a very short period of time, we sunk 7 bottles of sparkling and back to.
Is that
and
how
then stayed
Sean
up and
Connery
down.
says sparkling?
Sparkling.
Sparkling. No, I couldn't think of what it was. And then danced and we partied till 2 a.m. and then we were back on the piss. Only 5 bottles sunk the next night, but I think it was a stellar event, a stellar effort on our behalf.
Beautiful.
Sounds good.
Well played.
What about you guys? What'd you get up to?
We went and saw the badass chicks from the Moulin Rouge on Saturday.
Can I just ask a question? Stupidest
Yes.
question ever, but I'm going to assume that the people on stage were not wearing masks. Is this correct?
Yes, that is
Correct.
very correct.
Oh, thank God for that, because I can't find any guidance on this at all. And I'm like, tell me we don't have to do Mamma Mia in masks. I didn't think we did, but I just wanted some kind of
Oh, darling.
confirmation that we didn't.
those
You can't hear
masks.
anyone. It's ridiculous. You can't hear anyone. So
I was
okay,
thinking
thank
other
you,
masks.
Thank you. I'll probably
I
edit
thought
that out.
theatrical masks.
Yeah,
No,
no,
not
no.
theatrical.
COVID masks.
I meant COVID masks. Yeah, yeah,
What do you
yeah.
think we
And I'm
saw?
like, shit.
Did you enjoy the raunch of the Moulin Rouge?
It was
Was it
great.
the launch?
Brilliant.
Raunch.
Oh,
Raunch.
raunch. I thought you said
Raunch.
launch.
Yes. Yeah, no.
Hey,
Very,
sister,
very
go,
entertaining.
sister.
Oh, that's
Better
good.
get that something, sister.
Flow
Isn't that
sister.
how it goes?
Yeah.
Or did they use it? Did they use
Yeah,
the
yeah.
song? That
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they use most of the songs out of the film or not?
They use a lot of them, but not all of them. But they throw in a whole lot of other ones. So
Now
there's a
songs.
good bit of Lady Gaga action in there.
Oh, good.
Really?
Strictly Ballroom. Strictly Ballroom.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the stage production of it, but there was quite a lot of the music that was in the film that wasn't on the stage show. Not complaining. They put some other stuff in.
Billy Elliot was like that.
Yeah. Well,
Billy
probably
Elliot
they can't
wasn't
get
as
the
good
rights,
stage
but
show.
Oh, my goodness,
Well-
you people know your musical theatre.
I very much enjoyed
Oh.
Strictly Ballroom, but I was an absolute lover of the film.
Yeah.
So, like you're a purist and you go in, and a bit like Moulin Rouge, I've seen that about 45,000 times. And you go in and you're like, you expect something and it's not quite what's delivered. Doesn't mean that what's delivered isn't excellent, but it's just different. And as a
The
purist, you gotta
stage show was
adjust.
great, and it was different,
Good.
but it was really, really good. And the stage I thought was fantastic, and the way that it transformed. So at 1 minute you're in the Moulin Rouge, and then you're on the streets of Paris, and it changes so quickly and so seamlessly. It was really well done.
Carla,
Yes.
what about you? Got any news?
Also, very little. No, not really. I just have done some family stuff over the weekend. After going to an 83rd birthday last Sunday, this Sunday we went to a 90th. So
Woohoo.
I don't want to go on and on about it really, but yeah, rock and
Calm
roll. It was
down.
actually lovely. It was a very nice party, but we had to laugh my husband and I arrived probably 5 minutes late, which I would consider early. And when we arrived 5 minutes late and we walked in, it was a seated like luncheon or afternoon tea, and we were like, "Oh, did it start? Did we misunderstand the time?" But apparently, all the oldies were like lined up out the front. They were ready to go. They knew, and I was like, "Oh, I guess we hadn't really been to a party with 90-year-olds before." But it said it would start at a certain time and it finished at a certain time, and it ran like clockwork because everybody, I don't know if they've so much got places to be, but they turn up as they were supposed to. Not like me, which is 5 minutes after the hour is. I feel like, that's a bit rude. That's a bit early. But anyway, that's about the highlight of my week.
That's just a generational difference.
Yeah, definitely.
That's just there are some people who, had to be on time, and being a moment later would be rude.
Yeah. I've got people like that within my own family. Yes. I've got people like that within my own family who I think offset me very nicely, because they're the people who are in the car down the driveway beeping the horn at me and screaming at me while I'm running. It's all right. We'll be there on my time. We'll be fine. We don't want to get there early. People don't want you to arrive on time.
I know. I've experienced your timekeeping. And it's funny because Tony gets, for a long time got angry with me because he thought I ran late. I'm keeping a log now. He runs later than me most of the time.
I have a sort of a scale.
He doesn't
so
believe
I'm
it.
not late for flights. I'm not late for like an interview or anything that would be very important or something my children had to be there.
Hang on. Not late for flights.
No, I don't think so.
Except for that infamous time when we were going to Corsica and the whole group were late and we got called. I'm sure that was with you.
I don't remember that.
Yeah,
I've been at an airport an entire day, a day or 12 hours wrong. I've missed a flight that way.
When we went to Corsica for your birthday,
is that right?
Your 30th, yeah, we were all milling around, mucking around, and
milling
all of a sudden
about.
It was like Mr. McMinge and others were all called over the loudspeaker, and we were mortified.
Oh God,
we had to run. You know what Heathrow's like, or
we were probably like on Ryanair or something going to Sardinia.
400,000 kilometres to get there. Yeah, I can't. Yeah,
but I bet we're at the airport on time. I'm pretty good at that kind of stuff. But when it comes to turning up to
we just went at
a
the
party
terminal
or a lunch or something like that, I like to give myself. I like to be late. Isn't that awful?
In fact, that's the only time that I've nearly missed a flight.
Is that right? I wonder, did we fly out of Gatwick? Maybe it was a Gatwick thing.
I can't remember where we were, but I remember us all being called and all being shamed and running red-faced. Wait for us. Anywho, Kaki and Woo-Woo, what are you drinking?
Oh, we're having another delightful Helden Chardonnay. It comes very, very highly recommended from our mate Tracy in Beechworth. Get on it. Actually, no, don't get on it because she sells out, and that means none for us. So keep your filthy mitts off it. Thanks.
What are you drinking from?
Oh, well, I'm glad you asked. They're our fabulous new trial by wine glasses.
Oh, aren't they cute? I love them.
Yeah. So we ordered some of these, and we've sent some to each of you so that you can share with your nearest and dearest and our biggest fans. Carla, yours will probably take a month to get there because it's coming from Albury Post Office, and I think it goes via the Middle East.
Should we remind everyone who we are?
Yes.
I'm Schmidty.
Oh, goodness me.
I'll do it again. Sorry. I'm Schmidty.
That sounded very 60 Minutes, if you don't mind me saying.
Can I be the new 7:30 report, Lee Sales?
Oh,
she's leaving.
How would she say it? That was a very Channel 9 voice.
I'm Lee Sales.
Oh,
anyway. I'm Schmidty.
I'm Swanee.
And I'm Clarky. And together we are... Trial by Wine. Schmidty just missed all of that. Right.
Sorry, someone in the middle of it, an urchin came to the door and started to beg for dog food.
Oh.
And I was saying, we have no dog food here. There's no dog food here for your urchin dog food because you're too lazy to buy dog food for your own dog. It's all right. It's a family
Ouch.
dynamic, Carla. It's not
That
actually that
sounds
offensive.
beautiful.
Char-
You should
Charlie,
keep that to
Charlie's
yourselves.
laughing. Charlie's laughing. She knows it's funny because we're actually giving her dog food.
Whoa.
Fucking lazy fuckers. Can't even feed your dog.
See, that's nastier than what I said. That's not what I said.
No, but mine's
All right,
clearly
we've finished
clearly
that.
humorous. Yours is borderline. I'm gonna slice you if you do this one more time.
That's because you don't understand the dynamic of the family. She understood I was being sarcastic.
I
and funny, and she laughed.
very much understand the dynamic of your family.
Did Charlie look like she was going to cry? No. She thought it was funny because they don't listen to anything Anna Caroline says. I think everything
Yeah,
Anna
but
Caroline says is hilarious. And
She
why?
walked away, shut the door, and dropped the C-bomb.
No, she didn't. Tony gave her food. We actually gave her what she came for.
What, dog food?
I'm sorry, darling, but can you put off outside, please?
I'm really
Yes, she came for
confused.
dog food. So was I.
Please,
didn't
sir, may I
expect...
have some
We have some dog food. She came in with a bowl and she was like, please, sir, may I have some dog food?
Dog food.
It was exactly
As I said.
more,
Oliver.
thrash him,
Oliver.
bash him, blah, 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 throw him down the stairs. I mean, have you seen all of them? I can't remember the words because I directed it, but I can't remember.
Never
Since
before has a
6,
boy wanted more.
Never before has someone asked for dog food except
At
they
the
do
door.
quite
That could have
regularly.
rhymed.
At the door,
well done.
yeah,
Good
I
job,
know,
good
right?
You're
Opportunity
so good at
begging.
rap. We've already established you're good at rap. Okay, so I'm sorry I missed the "and we are," but that's fine. I think if you've ever listened to these back, one of us is always missing in the line, or sort of. Anyway, okay, so would you like to hear a story?
Oh,
actually,
yes.
Please, sir, yes.
Okay.
Please, sir,
So-
may we have some more?
More.
Well, I hope you continue to ask that throughout this. What
Wow.
I've done this time, I thought I'd try and find some stuff that had no murder and, just was a bit lighter.
Shits and giggles.
We love a bit of shits and giggles.
Coughs and giggles.
Shits and giggles, yeah. I've been thinking about what's topical and funny, and I decided to combine our favourite topics. Because we talk about both we've done some of these and we've talked about the other one quite a lot, on and off.
Is one
It's a bit of
wine?
No, but it's a bit of a thread through our stories.
Thank you, darling. I just got some more wine.
That looked like it came out of the bottom of the microphone. Did you see that, Schmidty? It looked like
No,
you
it
had
didn't.
like a dispenser.
Yeah, it's like
Because you had the wine bottle behind it. And I
you go like that.
quickly looked around and I went, what is that? Is that on tap? Jardy was quite nice.
Thanks, Tracy.
But you call that a
get on
cask,
tap.
Carla.
So I've combined our favourite stories about Florida man and woman and the impact of COVID, because I thought the two might be quite topical and quite funny.
Does it involve a 20 times Grand Slam champion who got kicked out of Australia because he didn't get vaccinated?
No, it doesn't. But you can.
That's good, because that
add that
wouldn't
in
be funny.
at any moment. And it's Florida man, not Ukrainian. What's he?
Croatian
Ukrainian,
man.
Croatian,
Serbian
not Croatian man.
Serbian
Oh my God, I
man.
can't believe I got that wrong. Oh my God, how many people did we just offend? Sorry.
You will
Yes,
start
Eastern European
fights.
man.
Wars have been started for less than that.
Oh dear God, I
How
cannot
very
believe
dare
I just said
you.
that. Oh my God.
Balkan man. No.
Former Yugoslavian man.
No, it's Florida. Quite. And to be fair, I started with this and then I went really wide and now I've narrowed it back in because we've only got 3 hours to do this.
I
story.
can't
Just
imagine
kidding.
what you've narrowed it down to. Is it now that you're not
Florida,
because-
back in Florida.
Oh, but it's now not. It's just Serbian.
No, it's Florida. I found a bunch of stories from other countries and then I was like, oh, that's 28 pages of notes. Can't do that. So I brought it back down. Okay. So I thought the combination of the two would be funny. So let's see if it is. My first story is courtesy of the Guardian.com.
Oh, good
So
start.
I'd like... Yeah, it's not Lad Bible. Anyway.
No.
So if we go back... remind me.
It's only
I
a matter of
must
time.
do-
If it's Florida, you'll have to source
God,
that Bible.
that's one of my other themes is I've got to find a story that is purely Lad Bible based,
Yeah.
so that you people can get off my back about my reputable sources. Anyway, On this occasion, I have reputable sources.
Okay, so she's back to the Smithsonian and they're doing their own
Not
Florida
as
series, are they?
Oh no, I had justicescott.com, but that wasn't
Oh.
as funny. But I can talk about it in a minute. So anyway,
I'm
on
quoting
this occasion,
Encyclopedia Britannica.
Britannica
And the World Book.
It's the world's driest story.
Okay, so if we go back a little while, just a little while, in the timey-wimey machine or timey-wimey machine.
Timey-wimey.
I know. I had written or typed, or in my notes at least, I
writ gov.
I had timey
Here we go.
whiny machine. However, I didn't say it right. So thanks for the correction. We're going to go back to 2020.
Can you say it 5 times quickly?
So if we go back a little while in the timey whiny machine to 2020, you might recall the President of the United States of America suggesting something so bizarre
Clorox.
that it had the whole rest of the world going, what the fuck? Well, here's a bit of a backstory on that.
That could have
In
been
April.
anything he said in 2020.
Oh no, I saw this and went, what? What? Huh?
What?
So I'm sure a lot of other people had that experience. In April 2020, Mark Grennan, who happens to be a resident of Florida, wrote to Donald Trump saying that chlorine dioxide can, in inverted commas, rid the body of COVID-19, inverted commas, days before the president promoted disinfectant as a treatment. If we recall that moment, just have that in your minds for now.
I still think, though, that is actually quite true. It would also rid the body of life, and that's probably the bit that he
And
didn't
we will
clarify.
get to it. That's right.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. In his letter, Mark Grennan told Trump that chlorine dioxide, which is basically an industrial bleach, used in textile manufacturing and, as you say, Paul, can have fatal side effects when drunk, is a wonderful detox that can kill 99% of the pathogens in the body
Detox?
whilst killing 100% of the body. That's right.
When I detox, I want to get impurities out of my body. I don't drink bleach to detox. Fuck.
He added that it can rid the body of COVID-19 and its pulse and brain synapses
Yes,
and everything
its
else.
heartbeat. Yeah.
I added
All
that
those
last
troublesome things that we all stress over.
week. Yeah, exactly. A few days after Grennan dispatched his letter, Trump went on national TV at his daily coronavirus briefing at the White House and promoted the idea that disinfectant could be used as a treatment for the virus. To the astonishment of medical experts, the US president said that disinfectant knocks out in a minute. 1 minute. He went on to say, is there a way we can do something by an injection? And I don't know what accent I'm doing. It's not Trump. It's not Valley
Keep
Girl.
up with
it's
it,
just
though. It's
retarded.
great. We understand what you're trying to do. Keep it up.
I tell you, I would love to right now be able to pay for
Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin to do this because he's a master. Yes,
He's so good, isn't he? Yeah.
Props to Alec Baldwin on this one. Is there a way we can do something by an injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see, it gets in the lungs and it does a tremendous number on the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that.
Gosh,
And
I
I
miss him.
I think we all
Tremendous
remember the
number
face?
on the lungs.
It does a tremendous number on the lungs.
Fucking hell.
Scientific expression. And I
Moulin
think we
Rouge
all
had
remember
some tremendous numbers. I wouldn't say that
It's a can.
COVID is
Can.
exactly. Yes.
Yeah, not a tremendous number on the lungs, aka COVID. So he went on to say, I think we all remember the face of the doctor on the sidelines who looked like she wanted to nut punch someone.
Yep, I remember her.
And
I
by
think
someone,
the person she meant President Trump. That is right, 100%.
yes. Did she grace tame him?
She didn't do it. She just looked shocked. Do you remember? Do
Yeah,
we
like-
remember this footage? She just
Yeah.
looked like,
Oh.
I
Was it
can't
the-
say
are you
anything. You're the president
Are
of the
you
United
listening
States.
to what I'm
but-
hearing?
Are you listening to what I'm hearing? Exactly. Did I just slip into a parallel universe? Like, what just
What?
happened?
What level
Yeah,
of batshit
exactly.
crazy did we just reach?
Exactly. Trump didn't specify where the idea of using the disinfectant as a possible remedy for COVID-19 came from, and the source for his notion remains obscure. However, The Guardian, my source, reported that peddlers of industrial bleach had been making direct approaches to the White House.
Peddlers.
I love that
I love that.
peddlers. Yeah,
I'm a bleach peddler. This is like your true stretcher. Peddlers. You like your Yoldy word.
Well, no.
I think they're
Yeah,
called manufacturers these days
To
as
be
opposed
fair-
to peddlers, darling.
To be fair, the Guardian, this is a direct quote from The Guardian.
I know.
So
I'm just giving
take
you a hard
it
time.
back, making out that I make
I
up
feel
words.
like-
I don't think you make them
I
up. I
feel
think
like-
you like some Yoldy peddler.
So do journalists for TheGuardian.com.
Obviously.
She would have used a less credible source, but they didn't use the word peddlers of bleach, so she just couldn't.
Oh, the peddlers of bleach.
Mark Grennan, the man who's selling the industrial bleach, styles himself as an archbishop of Genesis 2, a Florida-based outfit that claims to be a church.
What even is that? Ah, Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
See what I did?
But
I
which,
didn't even
in
mean it.
fact, is the largest producer and distributor of chlorine dioxide bleach as a miracle cure in the US.
Hang
he
on,
brands
are you saying that
Coincidence.
an organisation that calls itself a church is the largest peddler of bleach?
Yes, this man who calls it, and I will
hell.
get to why he calls himself a church in a minute.
Because
This
it's
man-
tax-free?
Pretty much, yeah. Along those lines, doesn't have the same
I love
compliance
churches.
requirements. And anywho, so he doesn't call it. In fact, he goes so far as to say, which I'll cover in a minute, that it's a non-religious church.
He's
Anyway.
good,
What
isn't
even is that? Is that a bleach manufacturer?
Correct. It's a person
Oh.
trying to dodge compliance. That's right.
Yeah.
So he brands the chemical as MMS, which stands for Miracle Mineral Solution, and claims fraudulently that it can cure 99% of all illnesses, including cancer, malaria, HIV, AIDS, as well as autism.
What? I reckon
Mhm.
it could, given the conversation we had at the start, it could also cure anxiety.
It can
'Cause
cure anything because it
Dead
will
people
kill
don't
you.
got anxiety.
Yeah,
That's right.
So he
Dead
doesn't have
people
a church
don't
with a
have anything.
congregation as such. There's nothing. There's no.
Oh
there's
no,
nothing
Carla.
to that side, is there?
We will get there. We'll
Oh,
get there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's not just some guy using the front of a church and just peddling his chemicals.
Body of
So I've
Christ,
combined.
blood
I've
of
combined
Christ.
two. I've
Body
combined
of
two
Christ,
articles
blood of
about
Christ.
the same people, but the picture will become clear.
Do they drink bleach at communion?
Shots.
Is
Just
it-
shots.
Since
Is
the
it communion
beginning,
where you have snacks and drinks?
it's a sacrament.
Is that called communion, or is that
Communion
called
is
something else?
also a
Sacrament.
sacrament.
What's
Communion
a sacrament?
is also a sacrament. Sacrament is
Is that-
something that is a holy, sacred thing as part of the rite of a religion. So,
And then in Italy they call
In
it
the-
Sacramento.
yeah, sure.
And in California, they call it the capital of a state.
At any rate, the sacrament of Christ is the body and blood of Christ. So in a Christian church or a Catholic church, you would have
MMS.
the Eucharist, and you would have
A shot glass of
the
MMS.
wine. Okay,
Yeah, I call it milk and
so
cookies.
in this church, he has bleach
It's bleach.
in a bottle. Okay. So, since the start of the pandemic, Genesis 2 had been marketing MMS as a cure to coronavirus. It advised users, including children, to mix 3 to 6 drops of bleach in water and drink it. Grennan was so bold in his claims that in his weekly televised radio show, fucking hell, America,
Why would you need a televised radio?
Grennan
Televised
read out,
radio show.
that's what it says. So it's like a
Broadcast.
podcast where you've got video,
Yes.
you've got video and audio.
Yeah.
He films himself doing a radio show. What, Tony?
Probably films himself doing a whole lot of other
Wanger.
unholy things too.
Grennan was so bold in his claims that in his weekly televised radio show, which we've just covered is probably a podcast with a YouTube channel, Grennan read out the letter he wrote to Trump. He said it began, "Dear Mr. President, I..."
You'll never be a lonely
Pink song.
boy. Oh, no, are you a
"Dear
lonely
Mr.
boy?
President..."
I can't hear the Indigo Girls.
Exactly.
How can you say no child is left behind? We're not dumb and we're not blind.
That's it. Sorry, Carla, we went into a pink moment. Anyway,
fine.
dear Mr. President, I'm praying you read this letter and intervene. Hours after Trump talked about the disinfectant live on TV, Grennan went further on in a post on his Facebook page. He claimed that MMS had actually been sent to the White House. He wrote, "Trump has got the MMS and all the info! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Things are happening, folks! Exclamation mark. Lord help others to see the truth! Exclamation mark." End quote.
Fucking hell.
Paradoxically,
That phrase, Lord help others to hear. How many times has that been uttered in history when people are being absolute charlatans? This bloke's probably done Cert 3 in shamanism, hasn't he? I reckon he'd be up to graduate diploma.
this is, you're right. You're absolutely, oh no, totally, 100%. He's like Diana. He's Marguerite Peter. He's putting churches and shamanism and bullshit together. And he's also Nexium at the top because he's completely selling a product that's bullshit and he's just manipulating the whole system. 100%.
May I ask a question? And
You
I don't
may.
know if I'm jumping forward or going back, so stop me in my tracks if I am. But at the beginning of 2020, before COVID was, a big thing, was
thing,
he
yeah.
producing
Before
this bleach? And was
BC,
this something that he already
2020 BC.
Was he already suggesting that it was something that people could use for other ailments, or did he just seized the opportunity when COVID came?
I believe he was
the front.
producing it as an industrial cleaner,
Right.
industrial bleach.
He'd been
I think,
curing
he
cancer
had-
and HIV for ages.
I have a horrible feeling that he had been claiming that prior to COVID, and then he just added COVID to the mix, and probably because
Far out.
of COVID being a pandemic and getting
Yeah.
a ton of
Opportunity.
media. Yeah, he's an entrepreneur.
Oh god.
I must say though, like
I
3
try
to 6
entrepreneur.
entrepreneur, 3 to 6 drops in water. Like if it's a decent sized glass of water, that would barely kill E. coli in the frickin' water. That's not going to cure anything. We had to tip like 9 liters of chlorine into our drinking water when we had E. coli in it.
I guess the question is whether people who are anxious and worried about getting anything follow the directions of 3 to 6 drops, or they overdose themselves because they're terrified of COVID.
Well,
AIDS,
that's on them.
But
But no, my point is that at the start we were talking about the fact that it would cure it by killing people, but the dose he's talking about, I mean, I'm no doctor, but I don't think that would do an awful lot. There's
All right, let me
chlorine
continue then. Can you allow me to continue? This is
I just wanted to correct
just a
us
standard-
on what I was saying at the start was it would kill people, but that
You
little bit.
prescribe a higher dosage. Is that what you're saying?
Like if he was saying take shots of chlorine, different story.
What he is producing and sending to people is an industrial strength.
All right.
What even is that?
Stronger than when you
Stronger
get
than
your
White King.
domestos and you put 3 drops of domestos in a glass of water, it won't be pleasant, but you're right, it won't kill you. Anyway, paradoxically,
or White King.
Trump's
Yeah.
Listening
Anyway,
to Trump
Trump's
could
outburst-
kill you. I'd rather have 3 to 6 drops of chlorine in my water than listen to Trump. Fuck.
it's funny because when I put this story down, I wasn't sure it would be funny, but fucking hell, it's cracker.
Honestly, anything with Trump is funny, except it's also fucking scary and dangerous. I know we're not supposed to talk politics, but You started it. You used his name, and now
I'm talking about
fucking rant,
2020. So this is that's fine. This is a retrospective. So you can shit on the previous president of the US. He wasn't ever ours anyway. We all laughed
It'll
about
be a
it.
second coming.
And he was on his way out.
Apparently there might be a second coming.
Oh, for sure.
We'll see how that runs. Anyway,
please.
Yeah.
well, we can't predict the future. We can only learn from the past. Trump's outburst about the possible value of an injection of disinfectant into the lungs of COVID-19 sufferers.
How do you even inject the lungs? Is that called swallowing?
It's called like
Oh,
a biopsy, isn't it? Normally you
it's-
stick a needle into something, punch in the lungs.
Not like into your lungs. You don't do that.
It's what happens.
It's like an adrenaline shot.
Like Ventolin would.
Yeah, but that's into the heart, isn't
No,
it?
Ventolin would be the closest thing to an injection into the lungs, I reckon.
All right,
Like
allow
that.
me to go back a
inhaler.
step to clarify
Okay.
the statement. Trump's outburst about the possible value of an injection of
I
disinfectant.
thought you were going to make a pun. Trump trumps science, or Trump trumps. But you were just. You were correcting yourself.
Donald Trump has absolutely no scientific nor medical background.
What?
He's just a shady shyster
What?
who has bought casinos and real estate deals and dealt with the mobsters, and that's another episode.
What?
But
Where's
the man has absolutely... Okay,
where's the
show me
facts
his
on these
medical
claims?
degree. Please show
I'm
me.
not saying he has
another
that,
episode.
but you're accusing him of not having
I
it.
thought he was reputable.
I want to see that. Oh, God. You can't prove that.
You two have played beautifully into a little segue I'd like to go through right now, which is about, have you seen the film Don't Look Up?
Yes.
Yes! So good. So
What a
good.
fabulous allegorical point about pandemics or any other major
And
threat
Trumpism.
to humanity and Trumpism. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, there she is. I'm the hot lady smoking, and don't look up. Just don't look up. And
Yeah, so
for those listeners who
don't-
haven't watched it, watch it. It's on
so the
Netflix,
Don't Look
watch
Up
it.
comes from the fact that there's a big asteroid that's going to come and kill the world. It's going to hit the Earth
Smash
and kill
the
everyone.
whole planet.
So
Kill us
no
all.
one. There's all this argument about whether or not it's actually happening, and then all of a sudden you can see the asteroid in the sky, and so everyone
avoid
who
it.
believed it was going to happen starts saying, "Look up, you can see it there." So then the counter argument is, "Don't look up,"
And it won't come.
and it won't
look up.
happen. So
Until they looked up and went, oh my God, you
Yes.
lied to us. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
Jesus,
a bit
this
late
is
now.
this is funny, but it's also upsetting.
scary.
It's scary and it's upsetting, and that's the world we live in. Anyway, so to all of our listeners, and I'm fairly confident that you already do this because you listen to us, look up. Okay,
Yes.
moving on. So,
Yes.
as we just established, President Trump, who has absolutely no medical background whatsoever,
Did we
suggested
establish
the
that?
I did. So let's move on.
Okay.
I did.
Trial by one fact. Yes.
Yeah. I've got 5 stories, so we got to move on. So
I got
Well, I
5
can cut
bottles,
them
one
back.
for each story. This is going to be
Excellent.
gold. I'm going to ring in sick tomorrow. I'm in for the long.
Oh, I might
I'm in
too.
for the long haul.
Sugar
This is
egg.
gold.
We have to edit that out in case we actually do that. All right. Anyway, so Trump's outburst about the possible
Hang on, I'll
value
do a
of
live call to my boss on trial by wine and ring in sick.
Okay, so Trump, no scientific value whatsoever, makes the outburst about the possible value of an injection of disinfectant into the lungs of COVID-19 sufferers just days after a leading agency within the president's own administration took action to shut down the peddling, for you, Carla, of bleach as a coronavirus cure around Australia, around the US. The FDA obtained a federal court order barring Genesis 2 from selling what was described as an unproven and potentially harmful treatment for COVID-19. You think?
Oh,
The FDA
dear.
also ordered a disciple of Genesis, Kiri Rivera, to
Fucking
remove
hell.
claims. I told you it was a church. Remove claims that MMS cured coronavirus from her website, whomever she is, and I didn't go down that rabbit hole.
She's a disciple.
That's all we need to know. She's probably someone quite influential, so whatever. The FDA issued an urgent warning urging Americans not to buy or drink MMS or Domestos or Clorox or any other bleach product you can get your hands on.
White King.
Which it said was a dangerous bleach which had caused here we go, Clarky, which had caused serious and potentially life-threatening side effects. Drinking MMS can cause nausea, diarrhea, and severe dehydration that can lead to death, the FDA said.
Have you seen Heathers? The movie
a long
Heathers?
time ago.
They kill someone by feeding her Drano.
Shut up, Heather!
Hurry up, Heather! It's Heather's turn. No, Heather, it's Heather's turn.
Sorry, in the musical, the famous quote is, "Shut up, Heather." Anyway, have you not seen Heather the musicals? You should.
Why are you such a mega bitch? That's a good one from there. Oh, great pate, Mom, but I'm going to have to motor if we're going to make this funeral. There's lots of good quotes from Heather's. But, yeah, they feed someone Drano and she dies falling through a glass coffee table. I feel that's what
probably died from the Drano.
MMS
the coffee table was a secondary thing.
She dies falling through it.
It will just burn your truck.
I don't know how corrosive it is, but I wouldn't.
It'd make it white.
Go and drink my toilet cleaner. It says don't drink it; it'll kill you. You know, like there are a lot.
Did you check?
Yeah, but if your president says inject it, that's not drinking it. And if it doesn't say on the bottle, don't inject it.
If your president says, "Hey, should we check that out on national TV?" and
I still
that
don't think you can inject your lungs.
Or drink it.
You could puncture them, can't you?
Adding to his scientific credentials, not only is the product he's selling not correct, his method of delivery is not correct.
Call to action, trial by whiners. Have a little think about the responsibility of the President of the United States in saying shit like that. And I'm about to get on to perhaps why he said shit like that. So, another advocate of bleach is as a miracle cure who has been seeking to interest Trump in the treatment is Alan Keyes. He's a former ambassador and advisor to Ronald Reagan, who ran unsuccessfully as a Republican candidate for the US Senate and on 3 occasions for the US presidency. Keyes has featured Genesis 2, bleach products as a miracle cure on his online conservative TV show, Let's Talk America. As I said earlier, America, you've got to have less TV shows. Anyway.
I love the way that the word conservative is used to describe complete whack jobs. Like, there's nothing conservative about that at all. That's just fucking way out there.
A certain Prime Minister of ours might be a bit conservative.
Oh, don't get me fucking started on him. You know I don't like to talk politics.
I know you love
it. Get a ukulele out and have a little go.
I forgot the words. It hurts.
You mean Tiny
Tim?
Tim?
Did you see that there was a picture that came out of Grace Tame, and she said she was playing an oboe and singing "April Sun" in Cuba. Oh, genius!
Have you seen the one yesterday where they changed it and it was him like strumming at the beginning and someone had overplayed like Hall & Oates?
Yes.
Have you seen it stopped and then he's... Yeah, that's it.
Yes. Yeah.
That's good.
I love it.
We digress. It's not known whether Keyes discussed MMS with Trump, but the two men have overlapping interests. Not only have they both featured in the Republican Party and presidential politics, but they were both leading proponents of the birther conspiracy theory that wrongfully suggested that Barack Obama was born outside of America. Dickheads is what I'm hearing. Right. Keyes' TV show, hosted on IMTV, or IAM TV, however you read it.
Also known as See You Next Tuesday.
A right-wing web-based channel. IMA TV's leading anchor is Bob Sisson, who has also advertised
Peter
Genesis
Credlin?
2 Bleach. Oh. Yeah, who has also advertised Genesis 2 Bleach products on air. In one of her shows, first reported by the Daily Beast, Credlin held up 2 bottles of Genesis 2 MMS.
Credlin.
I'm kidding, of course. I'm kidding.
Well played. Well played.
Insert Sisson instead of Credlin.
Yeah.
Gonna meet Trump. It's only a matter of time. President Trump's gonna invite us up there when he finds out about this stuff.
Gonorrhea Trump.
Remember, we were in the timey-wimey machine. This is early 2020 when no one knew what the fuck was going on, to be fair. Right. So.
It was the China virus.
That's a whole storyline I cut out of this because we don't have 6 hours, and I may come back to it. And also, Carla, anti-Semitism. Not specifically for you. I took it out of the whole storyline because I started with Florida Man and COVID, and then it burgeoned into I've got at least 3 episodes worth of content.
It's just a classic, isn't it? That anti-Semitism, you know.
Let's just blame
again, Sam.
Let's just blame every minority for a natural occurrence. Let's just blame everyone. Right. Following the statements by Trump and the campaign to protect Genesis 2, the Grennan family, Mark and his 3 sons, were indicted for selling tens of thousands of bottles of MMS for over $1 million US. According to the indictment, Mark Grennan, the US public, they had a website. He was just flogging this shit in the church of Genesis 2 as this miracle cure. What was it? Miracle mineral blah blah supplement, whatever the shit that MMS stands for. So according to the indictment, Mark Grennan, 62, and his sons Jonathan Grennan and 34 and Jordan Grennan and Joseph Grennan. And if you wonder why I said Juns,
I wondered why you said Juns. I'm completely okay with it now. Yes, that's fine. I was going to call you out on it, but then I understand it.
All of his sons have J names, I know. And, I've had a few drinks. Wow, so all of his Juns, like being Jonathan, Jordan, and Joseph, all of those Juns, it's another word for sons.
Junts.
All over Bradenton, which is in Florida. That's what links it back to the Florida bit. Manufactured, promoted, and sold the chemical solution that ingested orally became chlorine dioxide, a powerful bleach typically used for industrial water treatment or bleaching textiles, pulp, and paper. That's what they were selling for people to drink. Delicious. Wow. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration did not approve MMS for the treatment of COVID-19 or for any other use.
Nor cancer.
Correct. And warned that drinking the solution is the same as drinking bleach and could cause dangerous side effects, including vomiting, diarrhea, and death.
I love how dangerous side effects, including vomiting, diarrhea, and death. Like, one of them's not really a side effect.
Well, it is. 1 minute you're alive, and the side effect of drinking that is you're now dead.
Yeah, it could also be known as murder.
True. The Grennans are alleged to have sold their bleached solution under the guise of Genesis 2.
Can we call them the Gremlins?
Yeah, all right. The Gremlins, as promoted by Credlin.
Credlins?
Created this solution under the guise of Genesis 2, the Church of Health and Healing. Irony.
Is it the sequel to Genesis? Genesis 2 Electric Boogaloo. That was the breakdance to Electric Boogaloo.
It would be so much better if it was. They describe themselves as a non-religious church. Mark Grennan has acknowledged that Genesis has nothing to do with religion and has said that he set up the organisation to legalise the use of MMS and to avoid going to jail. Those two quotes are in those two statements.
Have they got a religious discrimination bill in the US?
Possibly. The Daily Beast added, because I'm moving away from my Guardian.com source to the Daily Beast. The Genesis 2 church that the Grennans used to sell the solution for mandatory donations was nothing more than a way for them to dodge federal regulations. Mark Grennan, the church's so-called archbishop, is said to have admitted as much in 2020 interview with a federal investigator because he's an idiot.
Genius.
Grennan quote, "Everything you do commercially is under the Universal Commercial Code, okay?"
Then he goes on to say, Universal Commercial Code? Is that like American? A code of God?
No, it's an American law, right? So he says, and then quote, "A church is completely separate from that code, statutes and laws. That's why a priest can give a kid wine in church and shit. That's why a priest can give a kid wine in church publicly and not get arrested, because it's a sacrament. Grennan goes on to say, I knew this because they tried to arrest us for proclaiming stuff on the street in Boston. They threw it out of court because we're a church. You can't arrest us from doing one of our sacraments. And I knew that. So that's why I said, let's do a church. And that's a quote from Grennan, the man who did this. I knew this because they tried to arrest us for proclaiming stuff on the street in Boston. They threw it out of court because we're a
Hang on.
church.
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt again. Did they proclaim that they could walk 500 miles, or did they proclaim that they would walk 500 more?
I think they proclaimed that they could walk 500 more, and then that got thrown
to be
out
the
of
man
court.
who walked 1,000
miles to fall down
1,000.
that
Out your door.
London.
Yeah,
Okay.
gold. They proclaimed.
Absolutely. They did proclaim.
You're religious. You're a church. London. Is that what they proclaimed?
That is.
Or not.
They threw it out of court because we're a church. You can't arrest us for doing one of our sacraments, and I knew this. So that's why I said, let's do a church. An ABC News investigation in 2016, ABC News America, caught
Anything
Mark
but
Brennan
credibility
No, I think ABC News America is okay.
is like
It's
our
not a
ABC.
I don't know, but it's certainly not a Fox News. It's not one of the Foxes, is it, Carla?
I don't know, but I don't think so.
right.
I think it's somewhat credible. Yes.
Slightly more credible than anything with the Fox banner. Sorry, my
Yes.
previous employer. Anyway.
Sorry, not sorry.
Our previous employer, actually, as a
Yes.
collective.
All three of you.
Yes.
Yeah. An ABC News investigation in 2016 caught Mark Grennan giving a sermon to people on the solution being bleach.
3
At
to
a
6
conference
drops
where-
in water.
Cheapers.
Get this, at a conference where attendees were charged $450 just to get in the door. I've got people curing some major stuff just from MMS, he said. From I'm sorry, I have to say this because
Here
this
we
is how
go.
it's written.
Prostate cancer. Prostrate.
Prostrate cancer.
Oh, fucking hell. That's that one that makes you lie down horizontally and you can't get up again.
Prostrate cancer. That's how it's
Fucking
written.
hell.
And I don't know if the journalist got it wrong or that's a direct quote, but I couldn't correct it because
Either
it's
way.
correct. It's a quote.
Is it in?
Prostrate cancer to brain cancer to autism, he said. Or did he? Anyway, come on, Paul.
So I just want to explore a little bit because I get those claims are outrageous, but who would pay $400 and whatever to hear more about that?
People who are desperate.
Who are desperate, who are trying to cure something.
The other thing
save
is, I
something.
think we have to take into account the context of the American health system. So there are a lot of people who don't have access to
Obamacare.
Health insurance.
Obamacare, whatever their system is. It's not like the NHS. It's not like even here in Australia.
Health insurance.
Yeah, if you're not paying for private health insurance, you can still get on Medicare. You still get public support. If you're seriously ill, you can go to a public hospital. You'll be treated. America is nothing like that. From what
You
I
need it
understand.
to have it with your job, don't you? That's why people take certain jobs so they get.
And
the
they
insurance
won't
with
leave
it.
them, and they get very upset, and there's a cultural issue because the healthcare is good. You know, that's the
healthcare,
main
that's how they
benefit.
do it.
Or the
So if you're
dental,
seri-
and the healthcare.
Correct.
So therefore, if you're seriously ill, you pay $400 to a charlatan to get a miracle cure.
Yeah, because
doesn't
go
work.
to a hospital is tens of thousands of dollars. So
No, I'm agreeing with you.
example of this is Tony had cancer last year. His out-of-pocket expenses will be nothing like a person in the same example in America.
But that's because he put 3 to 6 drops of MMS in his water and he's fine.
That's
Come
legitimate
to the-
cancer treatment.
Come to the
Did they at least suggest that to you?
It's just a different poison they put in you.
Yeah, we could give you proven cancer treatment drugs, or we could try this amazing new
MMS.
cure, MMS.
Yeah, no. Actually, I think I'd have taken the MMS over chemo.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
That bad.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. But the point is,
But you would have, but you would have got a different
sometimes
result.
work.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
tumour might not have been shrunk to nothing and died had he had bleach instead of chemotherapy.
Is
And
is
that's
it
why-
poison if it makes you better in the long run? Because I feel like that's like the opposite of poison.
Chemo.
You know in Don't Look Up where the Ariana Grande, she's playing a character of a singer,
Yes.
and she sings something along the lines of, "Stop listening to idiots.
Yeah.
Listen to the scientists," or something like that.
Yeah.
I know I remember laughing out loud. I proceed.
Yeah.
But that's what we're talking about here. You know, have the bleach. You might feel better for 5 minutes, but you'll still die of cancer. It's not going to cure you. Have the
Yeah, no,
chemotherapy.
but this-
You'll feel shit house, but it cured you. Anyway,
Yeah, but
go
I
on. What are you
think
gonna
that
say?
was kind of where. Well, that's kind of where I was to start with. But then it's that whole peddling, not bleach, but peddling false hope, and so people
100%.
are not doing this because they are listening to idiots. They're doing it because they're desperate and
and they're drawn
because
to it.
Absolutely
what if it did
right.
work? So yeah, it's
100%.
you know, for us in our system, you would never do that, but there, I get it, and it's awful.
And that's why
And I
capitalism
just-
is amazing in America. And entrepreneur, well, how do you say it?
Big
Entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneurial.
You say it
Entrepreneurs.
entrepreneurial, but you could say
Entrepreneurial.
entrepreneurial.
The entrepreneurs of this story think they're just entrepreneurs, but they are just.
Charlatans and
Yeah,
worse.
I
Truth
was gonna use
stretchers.
I was
Hey,
gonna-
Swanee.
I want to use
They're
it.
definitely true
They're
stretches.
truth stretchers, but I really feel like there needs to be a stronger expression
And
of
they're
that. Anyway,
Peddlers of breach.
thank
Yeah, no, I just wanted to explore that because that'll be important in the punishment to go, is there, you know, is there a role for the people who are paying the money for it? And I think we've ascertained that there's not.
No.
So I just want to add that a woman died in 2019, just hours after drinking the supposed miracle cure, though her autopsy wound up being inconclusive and didn't cite the solution as the cause of her death. Although, you know, we don't know either way. Just a coinky dink, put it that way.
No, I think it's interesting that was reported that she died within hours of drinking, implying that she did.
Implying it
but
had
then-
something to do with the bleach.
But actually,
she
we don't
could have
really know
died
nothing
from-
about it.
She could have been on the 11th hour door of her cancer or autism.
She could have done
That's
what I
what
do
killed her.
all the time and drink water and it goes down the wrong hole and then I nearly drown as a result
We
of
don't
it.
know. We just don't know. The government has also charged the Grennans with criminal contempt for allegedly violating civil court orders to stop distribution of MMS and
The,
for
gov-
allegedly...
the government has done that. Whilst their head
Yep.
is spruiking, everyone should get injected into the lungs.
Jesus.
This is a period after. Sorry, this is a period after
Ah.
idiot face. I mean, ex-US President Donald Trump, otherwise known as idiot face,
Right.
stood up and said, "Oh, can we try that? Is that a
But
thing?
they still
Can we
should
do that?"
charge him with that.
Oh, don't even. That's another episode about what freaking Donald Trump should be
Okay.
charged with. Anyway,
Maybe we should do an episode on
don't
shit we
make me
love,
angry.
and it could just
What
be
about
around.
shit? I nearly said prime ministers. Shit politicians who deserve a come-uppening.
Nut punch.
A nut
A
punch.
cometh
A nut punch.
I think is what you're, to quote Kath and Kim, a cometh uppance.
A cometh uppance. There needs to be some
Yes.
cometh uppancing. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
sorry.
That could work.
The government has also charged the Grennans/Credlins with criminal contempt for allegedly violating civil court orders to stop distribution of MMS and for allegedly threatening a presiding judge and warning, get this, if the government tried to prevent distribution, they would pick up guns and institute a Waco.
Call to
Oh.
a Waco.
Jesus.
What
That's a
the
bit harsh.
fuck, a wacko?
I think there's a little bit more to these
Jesus.
people, if I can understand. I've read here that there's 8 sons. Have you read that somewhere, Schmidty?
No, I only had 3 sons.
Eight
I don't know if
Juns
that's
or
right.
8 sons?
Maybe I've misread
There
that.
are 8 Juns coming. There are 5 more Juns than I've allowed for. But Carla, I started this with this idea of having multiple Florida Man stories, but I have a
I don't think
feeling
we're going to get to
there's
multiple
so
ones.
much in this one.
No, I think you might be right.
And I am very happy. This is a change of format, but I'm extremely happy. Can I just finish the next 3 paragraphs and then
Yes.
you can add whatever you want and then we can sentence? Because
You're that close.
I've just found a bit more colour around how much of a operation they were, perhaps.
okay, cool.
How
Because
big-
I didn't get
part
into it
one,
because
two,
I was
and
looking.
three.
I was trying to do light stuff, but I'm really happy to make this all about the.
Well, this is actually from
Greddens.
Bloomberg, so it's not that light, but it's not horrendous. It's quite
But
interesting.
it's
actually, but
it's credible.
a bit more
And
The
so I'm
fuck,
looking.
Carla? What's
Greddens
Lad
slash
Bible got to
Credlins.
say about this?
I haven't looked yet, but I shall do.
All right.
We can
It's all right,
just
I'm on
do
it.
that
I'm
at
on
the
it.
same time.
Lad
let
Oh, you're on it. You do Lad Bible, I'll do Bloomberg.
If you would both
MMS.
allow me to just finish my notes.
You
and
are.
then Carla
I know it's
can
about
go
you
on.
and your story, but we're off on a little.
No, I've
fucking...
got
Oh.
a tiny bit to finish, and then it's all Carla.
I've
I'm
got the
gonna do
Lad
it all
Bible
me.
reference already. Yes.
Excellent.
Go.
Do you
Go,
have-
Schmitty, continue.
Oh my god! Oh, this is a collaborative episode. Okay, so according to the indictment, a search by federal authorities at the Bradenton home of Jonathan Grennan seized dozens of drums containing nearly 10,000 pounds of sodium chloride powder, thousands of bottles of MMS, and loaded firearms, including a pump-action shotgun concealed in a custom-made violin case. What the fuck? These people
A
seem
violin case.
to be a shotgun concealed in a violin case. Who are they?
Is
we're
it
back
the
in
mafia?
I want to
20s.
know: is it a violin case that opens up and there's a shotgun inside it, or is it like a
That's not
James
how it
Bond
works.
type violin case that you just hold and shoot? You don't even have to open it.
I don't know
I wanna
how it works.
know.
Really?
I just don't know who outside of like a amateur theatrics troupe who need a prop to pretend to be a gangster who commissions and makes this shit. Anyway, moving on.
Austin
Al
Powers.
Capone-esque.
It is very Al Capone. If convicted on charges of conspiracy and criminal contempt, the Grennans could face life imprisonment. Mark and Joseph are in Colombia at the time that this was written.
Yes, I see this.
Oh.
Yeah.
The government
Oh, why
said,
is that?
and so do I, because that's what I
It's
found
just
out.
a nice place to go,
Because that's the next
Colombia.
tangent. That's part B.
Mark and Joseph Grennan are presently in Colombia. Jonathan and Jordan, the other Juns, are in US custody. Ha ha, sucks to be them.
You're
And they were due to be arraigned at the time that this story was written, which was 2020, April.
Schmitty, did you take your timey-wimey machine and go forward and find out whether they actually
I
got
tried
convicted,
to.
or
I
we
tried.
don't know that yet?
Probably might be a bit early.
Look, to be fair, I didn't have a great deal of time, but I did look up whether or not, and it kept saying that they were just indicted and that nothing had happened.
Did you Google, did the Juns get sentenced? And nothing came up
Grennans.
because they
Grennans.
they don't know what Juns is.
Where is the Grennan indictment at? I went through all that. I couldn't find
Did-
anything that suggested
Did
progress.
Credlin get
But-
charged for Genesis 2? Google has no matches.
We have no results for that. Try to refine your results by changing your keywords. I did look up. No, I did try. but
No,
I
you
have
didn't
no
look
answers.
up. You were going to look up,
I did
but
look
you
up
thought,
the Credlin.
don't look up. Don't look up.
Oh no!
'cause-
Excuse me. I'm a total look-upperer. If we're going to take this as the allegory that it is,
Look-upperer.
I look up. I am looking up.
Just be careful, because looking up is a little bit like upskirting.
Yeah, but the problem is all the people who think that they're looking up are looking down.
Which-
That
Yes, but
Oh,
actually
God.
upskirting does involve looking down with a mirror, not looking up.
I'm not
To be fair.
upskirting. I knew what you were
No,
saying.
I'm saying I'm
ignoring it
clarifying
because
that it's yeah.
As a heterosexual female and as a homosexual man, you'll appreciate upskirting
Or
men. Not very,
I was hoping
Doesn't
you'd
give
say
you much
penis.
value. You don't see nothing.
Stuart
They're all in
Stuart would
trousers.
totally upskirt men if they were wearing kilts.
But they're not wearing
sure.
kilts. They're not wearing skirts, and that's an indictment on society as it stands today. However, I can't pervert men's penises because they're in trousers, and maybe that's a patriarchy statement. Don't know, but I can't upskirt. Is all I'm
You
saying.
could wear.
Because
You could
I
wear
have no
trousers
interest
I
in
can
women.
hook you up with
days.
some apps if you need them.
You could wear trousers, and women
Carla.
could also wear underwear.
I wear trousers
that's
and
it.
I wear underwear. Stop being so
Men do
offensive.
the
Excuse me.
men
okay,
do the
fine.
double
I'm going
double.
all feminist.
Like yes,
I'm
get
going
on
all
it, Schmidty.
feminist.
Get
If
on
I
it.
wear a skirt or a dress and I don't want to wear underpants, there's nothing wrong with that because you shouldn't be sticking a mirror up my skirt to look at my vajayjay. So stick your mirror
I agree.
up your a-hole.
All I was saying is maybe it's an evolution thing, right? Where men used to all wear kilts. And then they started getting upskirted,
No,
so
it
then they started wearing underwear, and then that still didn't work. So then they had to get away with the kilt, do away with kilts, and just wear pants, like the double
But then
protection.
they told women, keep wearing the skirts because you don't look feminine. Piss off.
Oh,
Moving
see,
right
that's
along.
wrong.
Oh my God, they've taken a breath.
What's my drink?
Come on.
Sorry, yes.
Tony, stop.
Look at that trigger reaction. Woo!
Tony, stop my
Yeah.
drink. That's my drink. Sorry.
Ouch.
Okay.
Carla, that was absolute gold. Dig at us. Well done.
Go for
Over
it.
to you.
Over to you.
I've just found a little bit, but I thought it was quite cute. And it was it's Bloomberg Business Week, so I suspect it's somewhat reliable. But I like the subhead. It was the family behind the COVID bleach cure was making a fortune. When Donald Trump suggested injecting bleach, the Genesis 2 church had just the sacrament, excuse me, until, and I'm not making this up, Operation Quack Hack.
Quack. Oh no! Yes.
That sounds like, that's what I thought it might be.
What was
Quack.
I thought you were
that?
going to say that was what, if I was at Lad Bible, that would have been in my headline for sure. Operation Quack Hack.
Quack hack.
And 4 elders in
Carla,
jail.
Carla, slow it down.
Yes.
Quack.
Operation Quack Hack.
Cat.
Waddle, waddle.
Quack.
It does sound quite dramatic though, because it says in a rare feat for a false prophet, Grennan's vision essentially came true at the break of dawn on July 8, 2020, so a couple of months after COVID and all those statements were made. As police helicopters circled overhead, a SWAT team appeared in armoured vehicles and raided the headquarters of the Genesis 2 Church of, and this is important, the Church of Health and Healing.
Mm.
So it's in the branding. I don't know if we touched on that before. I think
Yeah, I
that
mentioned
from the
it.
outset they've tried to package it up.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's
What was the
full
rare
name of
feat
church,
for
it makes
the-
more sense.
What was the rare feat for the
I think you got to say right because
What
it
was
said
the truth stretcher?
Mark Brennan.
The
Well,
false
apparently
prophet?
he'd been jolted awake the night before in a sweat, and his heart was pounding, and he'd been shaken by a nightmare that his family was about to be captured, and he was actually.
Oh,
right.
I don't think that's a rare feat for a false prophet at all. I think they would live every night in frickin' sweats, wondering if they're going to get found out. George Pell.
It's quite remarkable. It says Grennan, the church's self-styled archbishop. So it's again this idea of putting, the needs of people who are, have these serious diseases or illnesses and
It's disgusting.
coupling it with the church. As it says, self-styled archbishop. It's so sinister. The church's self-styled archbishop was also wanted by the US Food and Drug Administration's Office of Criminal Investigations, along with another of his 8 sons, it says, Schmidty.
I don't know where he
But
got
one
8
of them
sons
was
from. I
named
could only
Mark
find-
or
Oh,
something.
no, sorry. Correct. So I've made a mistake there. It says along with another, meaning one of his other 8 sons,
Oh.
Joseph. So that was him. My mistake. But there are 8 sons apparently.
Oh, well, I never found
but just
them.
we're talking
Yeah.
about Mark and Joseph. So he's
I just found the 3 that were indicted. I didn't
Correct,
know they
you're
were
No,
right.
but you
Yeah.
mentioned
Three
old
and
mate
five
who
others.
was in Colombia who
have
started
to
with
be
him.
credible
Was that
ones,
Mark?
yeah.
That's Mark and Joseph.
Yeah,
They'd
they-
fled for Colombia weeks earlier. For more
So
than
there's
a
the
decade,
Juns
the
and
Grennans
the
had enriched
Muns.
themselves.
They fled for
Their
Colombia.
miracle mineral solution, MMS, a sacramental drink that promised to cure ills such as Alzheimer's and cancer, but the scientific consensus holds it to be potentially lethal and have no medical value whatsoever. But thousands of people had bought into it to bathe in, spray on, or ingest. So there were other ways you could use it. So people, they were just saying, hey, it's sacramental, use it. It's sort of...
I seriously, today
it's working on two levels. It's
I
not
had to
just
go
its health; it's also a little bit the religious kind of thing.
I had to
They're
go in
hoping
the
make
office
holy
today,
water.
and I had a mask, and I just sprayed it on both sides with Glen 20. Is that the same?
I thought you were going to say the MMS. It's like, yeah, that's what you do.
Yeah, it's not
Put on your
Bleach.
No, you
hands.
should have
You'll be right.
bathed in it.
Yeah.
I Glen 20 it, and then I waved it around a bit so I didn't choke on it, and then I put it back on because I thought
There's a bit of
3 to
Probably
6
not very
sprays
good,
in
which
your
is what-
water. Or
I
straight down
thought
your
this is
throat
what you
to
were going
inject
to
it
say
into your
earlier.
lungs.
like cheese, cheese in a can.
Yes.
Oh, cheese in a can.
Or cream. Yeah.
Bingo.
Sorry, Caroline. Go on.
So what you were saying, you know how when they went into the warehouse and they found the gallons of hydrochloric acid?
10,000
It says here,
pounds
which
of it,
could be
yeah.
combined to make chlorine dioxide. The FDA investigates the fixed stickers
You know you didn't use words then, don't you?
1996. Yes. I'm just trying to cut through.
That's okay.
Because
Yeah, no,
earlier
that's
when we
okay.
were talking about what damage... Sorry, darling. What damage it could do. And I know we were just talking about drops, but this is what I was expecting you were going to say.
Right.
This 1496 indicates it's a classification as a chemical so corrosive it can burn a hole through the throat. That's what I was expecting, but I guess if they're doing it just minuscule drops, that's why you can sort of veer away from that. But it's
That's
so
it, you're
corrosive it can burn
diluting
a hole
it.
through the throat, perforate the stomach, and cause blindness. It commonly serves as industrial bleaching agents, and you've said what it works in before, but it's not real good for you.
No. And so because we're on a collaborative project today,
Yes, darling.
Tony also found another article from the Department of Justice from the United States. So this is not Lad Bible, which is about a seller of
Don't worry, I'm waiting in the
MMS.
wings with Lad Bible when we're ready.
Cuckoo.
Okay.
It's about a seller of miracle mineral solution, otherwise an MMS, convicted for marketing toxic chemical as a miracle cure. And it's not one of our friends. It's Louis Daniel Smith, 45, convicted of following a 7-day trial of conspiracy, smuggling, selling misbranded drugs, and defrauding the United States. Evidence at the trial showed that Smith operated a business called Project Green Life. From 2007 to 2011, PGL sold a product called MMS over the internet. MMS is a mixture of sodium chloride and water. Chlorite and water. Sodium chlorite is an industrial chemical, as we've covered. Oh, used as a pesticide. Didn't know that. And for hydraulic fracking and wastewater treatment.
Oh, God.
Sounds grouse. Give me some now.
But just on that, so the water treatment part of it, whether it's wastewater or drinking water, is in my understanding, that's quite normal. You use that to kill off a whole lot of bugs. So often your water will be chlorinated. Your swimming water is chlorinated, and I think wastewater is also done. But it's in the amount, the right dose. That's why I was making that comment around the 3 to 6 drops in water. Doesn't say how much water versus drinking it and burning your throat in the process, or it'll burn your eyeball if you pipette it.
So, according to the instructions for use that Smith provided with his product, nausea, diarrhea, and vomiting were all signs that the miracle cure was working.
It was working. Oh no!
The instructions.
Well, that makes sense. Getting rid of the bugs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The instructions also stated.
Is death also?
The instructions also stated that despite a risk of possible brain damage, the product might still be appropriate for pregnant women or infants who are seriously ill.
No.
What? And lack of breathing is also a side effect. Lack of breathing for the next eternity is a side effect. Did he say that? And people still used it?
No, however, the jury, because he went to trial, found Smith not guilty on 1 out of 4 of the misbranded drug counts. He faces a statutory maximum of 34 years in prison, and his September 9, whatever year this is, sentencing.
Not enough.
Anyway,
this is interesting.
September 9.
When he was
very
when the
case,
sons were arrested,
Almost.
he was doing
It's
one of his
9.
podcasts, or what do we call it? A televised radio show.
Yeah, we don't want to associate ourselves with these fuckers. So it was definitely a televised radio show. This is a podcast.
Yes.
This is different.
Yeah. In here, well, they use
Way
the
more
word
credible,
podcast
right?
on Bloomberg.
Way more credlin.
Way
In a
more
podcast
credlin.
the
Credlin
morning
ability.
his son's arrest in Florida, Grennan imagined an even graver fate, but he also relished the idea that the church's international network of MMS distributors would carry on the family's work. If they kill us, this is a quote, if they kill us, we have so many people trained up all over the world right now in 145 countries, he said. That's probably the best thing that could happen to us. This is not going to stop.
See, this is like
Carla,
Nexium. You know, like,
Yes.
it's like that whole
that is
pyramid
perfect.
Nexium. Were they going to
Can
weaponize
I talk about
how
Lad Bible
dangerous-
now?
Yeah.
Please do.
Can I
I'm
talk
done.
about
Please
Lad
go
Bible?
ahead.
That's the
Because-
Fergie bit.
This
Lighten it
is
up,
a
my
great
friend,
one.
lighten it
This is
up.
a great one to call us out on the fact that we were saying this is about America, right? Lad Bible, and the headline is Australian Healing Church fined $150,000 for selling bleach as coronavirus treatment.
I'm not
And I'll just read the first. I'll read the first couple of paragraphs because it's all what we said before. The Australian arm of the Genesis 2 Church of Health and Healing
there it is.
has
Same
been
company.
fined more than $150,000 for advertising a liquid meant for human consumption that is essentially bleach. The Miracle Mineral Solution, MMS, was being flogged on the church's website as water purification drops and claimed it could cure coronavirus, HIV, cancer, autism, acne, and diabetes.
Acne
An
as
investigation found... Yeah.
That wasn't in my list. Sorry, go on.
But I think hydrogen peroxide is something that is sometimes used for that. Also not ideal.
Benzoate
an investigation
something or other, and salicylic acid also won't kill you, but also don't drink them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good for you. An investigation found that liquid contained sodium chlorine, a chemical used as a textile bleaching agent and disinfectant. So there's a whole lot that goes on about. But I just, at the start, we were making this a bit about America, and I think, rightly so, but it's interesting that also in Australia, we've had the same whack jobs doing the same crazy shit. And I don't think $150,000 is enough. Oh, yeah. Entrepreneurs.
It's a pyramid scheme. That's what I heard. It's a pyramid scheme. It's another Nexium. It's selling shit to shit.
I'm ravishing after indoor cricket. This
dumb
whole
off.
thing, though, of preying on or giving false hope to people who have none. And honestly, I know I bang on about this too much, Schmidty, and you'll probably want to edit this out as well. But I feel like in the olden days, the church was about false hope.
Christian faith is about a hope beyond
For
the
you.
world we live in. No, for most
For
Christians.
you.
No, not for me. For most Christians, it is about what happens next. It's about what happens next. And when an atheist says nothing happens next, you're just fucking dead, that is quite upsetting to us who would like to think whether it's a pipe dream, and some of us might go, it's a pipe dream, but it's a nice dream to have.
But if you're willing to live by that, that's fine. And if you're willing to donate to that, that's fine too, right? But I look at I go around Europe and I look at all of these churches they're incredibly lavish, but so many people have donated money to the church in the hope that someone would not pass away. And that's false hope. And
I don't think anyone
I do,
thought that.
100%.
Sorry, that's where I'm going to call you on that. No.
And that's where we
no
differ,
one gave
right?
money saying this person won't die. Yeah. No one said we're going to give money so this person doesn't die. We're going to give money so that this person's memory is kept.
No.
It's different to
I
this
don't
person
think that's...
doesn't die.
Yeah, I don't think that's
So-
right. There's all...
Well, more for them because they
Of
were
course.
fucking proved wrong.
Yeah,
pretty
just like the
quickly.
people who paid money for coronavirus treatments, more for them because they paid money for false hope. My point is that for you, your faith is healthy, right? And you are aware that it may not end up where you want it to, but you're very willing to go along with it and you're comfortable that that's where it will take you. But there are plenty of people who who do live in that world where they pay for bleach to cure diseases. And there are plenty of people who aren't as, if you're a peasant on the street who has no option but to either
In peasant world.
live or die. Yeah, absolutely, in peasant world. This is a real thing. And I take offense at that, because I think that the church has for too long taken advantage of people who don't know any better and who therefore lap up the false hope. They don't do it from an educated point of view. They don't do it from a confident but also hopeful and optimistic point of view. They do it out of desperation, and they get taken advantage of. And that's the element I don't like. I'm comfortable with faith and faith healing and all those sorts of things, but I don't like it when people who are not educated, who are not in a better better capacity to understand what they're getting in for, blindly follow and then get proven wrong down the track.
So I've just sort of stumbled upon this thing, but it's quite interesting. Okay, so we need to take a step back to someone totally unrelated to Grennan at that time. And it starts with, it says, in 1996, Jim Humble, an Alabama-born ex-Scientologist turned gold prospector who later claimed to be and I quote, billion-year-old god from the Andromeda galaxy.
So humble. What was his real name?
Yeah.
Do we know that?
He was, I don't know, Jim Humble. No, it doesn't say. He was at work. He was on a mining expedition in Guyana when 4 members of his crew fell ill with malaria. According to a book he published a decade later, Humble purified their drinking water with sodium chloride that was in his toolkit, and it cured them instantly. So he named that pale yellow liquid miracle mineral solution.
Sorry, Swanee, I missed that. What did it cure them
That's
of?
where it starts. Malaria.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, yeah.
Right? So, okay, I can kind of see, I mean, his initial claims are enough. So he sets out for Kenya, Malawi, Sierra Leone, Tanzania, and Uganda, ultimately saying that he's working with international Christian aid groups to treat 100,000 patients. And he said that MMS was typically 28%. That's quite a lot. Sodium chloride, and tasted like rancid swimming pool water. But apparently it proved no limitation. People were doing it. Humble never admitted his remedy was toxic, though in a video he later circulated, he described MMS use slowing in the African countries he'd visited after a couple of missionaries decided I was evil. So that's how it starts. And then other people start to imitate him. Now we need to sort of jump ahead, and I'll tell you what was going on with the Grennans at the same time. So Grennan purchased 50 acres of farmland overlooking the Caribbean Sea in the Dominican Republic, near the port city of Barahona, and began work on a walled compound that would include 2 houses, an apartment, a church, and a swimming pool. Yeah, just
walled compound.
However, during the so he was going to build it, like he was a missionary, so that was why he was actually in.
We don't want the unwashed coming in and having to cure them.
Oh no, it sounds like a resort-style church. Sounds like great fun. He reluctantly then the recession hit and he faced some financial hardship, so he actually had to put up half of the estate, or the half-completed estate, for sale. So that wasn't happening. That didn't sort of come to fruition. But around about the same time, in a book that he wrote, which was called Imagine a World Without Disease, Is It Possible?, his family fell ill with MRSA, a staph infection that's particularly resistant to antibiotics. None of the medical treatments that they were using seemed to work. And it was at this point, browsing online for home remedies, he discovered Humble's website and ordered a batch of the miracle mineral solution. He said it immediately reduced the family's fevers and healed their sores. Grennan soon contacted Humble and invited him to the Dominican Republic. By 2010, Humble had moved into one of the ministry's houses, and he and Grennan began envisaging a windfall.
That's where it came from.
So that's the backstory of how that came to be. And I probably don't need to go into it anymore, but I think that starts to show you that just how diabolical his intentions were from the outset. It worked for us. That's enough of a stretch.
How quickly he goes.
We're going to make some money.
It goes from it manages our MRSA to COVID and AIDS and basically everything. Acne, autism, everything you could imagine.
But so
It's a miracle cure.
It really
yeah,
is.
yeah. But also, you said
So
28%.
he knows that if he
You
uses the
said
church as a front,
28%.
That's not 3 to 6 drops in a glass.
that
is
was what
it?
he was doing
So,
in Africa to start
so I just
with.
googled.
No,
so a
that's
healthy
what he was doing
chlorine
in Africa to
level
start with.
up to 4 milligrams per liter or 4 parts per million are considered safe. So like that's not even God. Like it's 0.0000 fuck. Too many zeros, but nowhere near a percent, let alone 28%. So this is the thing that you can absolutely look at chlorine as being a safe cure for a whole lot of diseases. Drinking water, but with 100% it
Kills
does.
germs.
It kills and people.
Think about your pool. Of course it does. It serves a purpose. It does things.
Should it
Yeah.
be ingested
28%? I don't think so.
whatever rate? No. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And I just want to add one last thing before we go to sentencing, because I think this is really what it was all about. So the idea, Brennan once explained on a podcast, was to elevate Humble's obscure online operation to the dominant international supplier of MMS, with an emphasis on the developing world where lower healthcare standards might lead people to more readily accept unproven cures. Knowing that such a business would test consumer protection laws in many markets, he and Humble agreed to form the operations under the guise of a church and promote MMS as a ceremonial drink, which they figured would insulate them in countries such as the US that afford religious groups robust freedom.
Jesus.
That's it for me. Mic drop. I think, that is, in a nutshell, why it all came about. They knew what they were doing the whole time.
I don't think my earlier storytelling suggested that they were,
Oh, God, no.
just dancing
No.
along and
I'm not
going,
saying that, but I'm just
dancing through life.
I just think that little bit.
They knew what they were doing.
Yeah,
they were assholes
get-go,
from the
you're right.
get-go.
Yeah.
But thank you for providing.
Thank you. You can thank Bloomberg for that. I just found it really interesting.
Yeah, no, thank you for giving more gravitas to the fact that these people are a bunch of not very nice people.
No, what I couldn't quite gather from the, because of the Guardian article was the peddling. Like, at what was the scale of the operation? What were they trying to do? Was it just a little local church? Was it a manufacturing business?
Sounds
I couldn't quite get my head around it.
When in point of fact, they were global and they were nasty. And when
they were just
Clarkey
nasty.
brought in the Australian version of Genesis 2, it just showed you the scale. When they say peddler, it makes you think like a panhandler down on the corner of the street.
I'm peddling fake Swatch watches, or like
in Muddy Road in Hong Kong.
Like we've all done that before or something, but no one died.
There's the story. What's the crime?
Carla, you're going to make me say it, aren't you? I feel like you just delivered extra evidence to fucking infuriate me.
Honestly, there's actually there's a hell of a lot. Then what happens is after that, so it starts to talk about individual stories and what happened to people, and then they were, as their business was sort of
fucking
booming,
business
and they were
was
going
booming.
around
That even
charging
annoys
people to have
me.
these sort of conferences and stuff. They came to Australia.
$450 just to go
Australia, New Zealand.
just to go to the conference.
Yeah. Oh God, injecting. Honestly, have a look at this article. It's unbelievable.
I don't know that I can.
It's awful.
You've already raised my heartbeat another fucking 20 beats per minute or something. I'm
what are you
possibly
going to do
running.
to him or them or?
Well, no, I want to talk about the crime because I want to do it in a way that doesn't offend people, but that also shows my conviction for this, because I'm sick to death of this shit where, under the guise of doing the right thing and trying to help people, we actually do horrible things to people who, for a whole lot of reasons, have no capacity to understand that they are being misled, they are being mistreated, they are being treated fraudulently. And like it it just fucking disgusts me. And quite frankly, I'm sick to death of it. So yes, they use the word church. And in this instance, I'm not going to show any disrespect to the word church, but that the use of the word church implies some level of respect, particularly to people who don't have the capacity to pick that apart and realize that it's not a fucking church at all. It's just
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Did you hear that?
That's his iWatch.
That's
I don't have an answer for that.
Is it me?
Something else I can
No
help with?
Clarkies.
Is it yours?
Siri. Siri,
Sure.
what is a fraudulent church?
Here's what I found.
That's like nothing, isn't it? Shut up. So sorry, I just got interrupted by Siri. This is what live podcasting does. No, so I just, there are things that we can see and understand and question and go, that there's no truth in this at all. But if you're in somewhere in Africa with not a lot of money, not a lot of internet, not a whole lot of things, and somebody who is supposedly the leader of the free world comes out and says, you should inject this into your lungs.
Get on this.
What are you going to do? Like, it disgusts me. And so we spoke earlier. I'm not a fan of Donald Trump at all.
Really?
I know, and I'm not going to go into that anymore because I've banged on about that enough. I'm not a fan of people who pretend that their industrial strength chlorine is now an fucking MMS and we'll give it another
Cure
name
all.
that implies that it will cure everything, when actually what it'll do is give false hope to people who are desperate enough, who are really struggling day to day. They probably struggle to get clean water, and maybe a little bit of MMS would help them with their clean water issue, but it's not going to cure the diseases that they struggle with day in, day out. Schmidty, you had me going with the initial story, and Swanee, when you added that bit, oh, fuck. It's like I'm trying to think of extreme punishment. So everyone please understand this is extreme punishments, and maybe you should help me mediate.
It's trial by wide world. It's okay.
Yeah. No. Maybe they should help me mediate them sometimes, because I do go to extremes sometimes. But I'm kind of thinking, if you were to waterboard somebody, that's when you put a wet cloth over their face and you make it hard for them to breathe. But maybe if you added 3 to 6 drops of MMS to that whilst you did it, that would be even better. Maybe if you added 3 to 6 cups of MMS, that would be even better. But also, there's the Chinese water torture where you just drip water on people. What if we just didn't do that with water at all? We just did it with MMS. I honestly, this taking advantage of people who are just lovely people trying to get through life, and let's just not give a shit to whether we kill them or not, whether we give them more misery or not, all that stuff. I'm fucking done with. And if that starts with Donald Trump, he can fucking get waterboarded with MMS. If it starts with the false church, let's fucking give those people that. Like, I'm just fucking done with it. That's hopefully not just a rant, but also a trial by one punishment. I'm not sure what I delivered then.
I'm reluctant to say what I'm about to say because it's so macabre, but I mean, surely a dose of their own medicine is a very good place to start.
Perfect.
Yeah, maybe a stronger dose, I'm hoping.
And then I could I was thinking about saying for their loved ones as well, because they were, if it's good enough to, promote, it's good enough.
This is what I love about your punishment.
And surely it's good enough for the people that you love and honour.
Yeah, you hit them where it hurts, don't you? It's great.
You're 100% correct.
Yeah.
Because I don't particularly think it's a case of judging them, because I don't think that they even necessarily put themselves on a religious pedestal and stuff. I think the church was totally just a front, so I don't think I need to even
it's false church,
say,
right?
You'll be judged and you're going to hell.
Completely false
so that's
church.
neither here nor there. Let's look at it just purely from
they're using that to get
economic point of view.
credibility,
Yeah.
I think.
Totally. They don't really care for that, so I don't think they're going to be judged by that. Yeah. I think a couple of MMS milkshakes or, cocktails.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and damn right, it's better than yours.
It's better than yours. My MMS brings the boys to the yard.
Damn right, it's better than
You're
yours.
the best rapper.
It's better than yours.
I could teach you, but I'd have to charge.
What's it called? It might corrode you.
Yeah.
Oh,
From
certainly
the
will.
inside out.
Yes. What about you, Schmidty?
Now that you ask.
Thanks
I'm
for
gonna
asking.
Sorry, wait, now that we've stopped singing.
Oh, no, I'm all for I'll corrode you.
There's more
but you have
singing to be done,
charge.
surely.
So, I'd like to remind you of when we did Brian Jones.
Brian Jones. Oh, BJ at the bottom of the
Brian
pool.
Jones, right? I know
BJ.
that one. Yeah, that one I remember. Yep.
And you might remember I was in Swan Hill in a caravan park.
True, you
I
were.
can't recall that.
Well, I was.
I can,
can't-
yes.
And one
In
of
the
the
ensuite.
problems in the ensuite, and one of the problems with our technical problems we had was that there was a water park literally 20 feet from where I
Yes.
was, and it had
True that.
this giant bucket that filled with water, and after a time
And
tipped
then
down onto
tips.
people. So
Yes.
imagine. I think you know where I'm going with this.
MMS.
Giant bucket that fills with MMS, and we've got all the Grennan Juns and father. So all the
And
Juns and the
Credlins.
father and Credlins and maybe even the Trumpos. They're all carefully
Big
fenced in.
fucking bucket.
Lined up.
Well, no, the bucket was quite large, so I can tell you, we got
Okay.
3 Juns, at least 3 Juns and a dad and a Credlin, and she wasn't even in the story, and Trump. So that's at least, and then someone else, Humble. You said a humble person. So
Yeah.
there are
Jim,
1,
wasn't
2, 3. I don't know
Hubble
what
Space
Credlin said.
Station.
Do you mean the billion-year-old god from the Andromeda Galaxy? Would that be who you mean?
7
Yeah.
people carefully positioned
Jim
together,
Humble.
and so this plastic. I'm going to say plastic because it's molded thing that pushes their
Push 'em
mouths up and keeps their mouths
Yes.
open, so that when the bucket comes down and empties out, they are
Oh, like the foie gras thing.
well, yeah, like force feeding geese to the
Foie
making
gras,
of
yeah.
foie gras. We
Yeah,
are
it is.
force feeding these people in Trial by Wine World. This is not a real world, but Trial by Wine World.
Oh,
We've got
right.
a giant bucket of MMS. This is just the punishment of MMS dickheads, the COVIDians over here, who deserve this punishment because they basically preyed on terribly vulnerable people. You know, like we've all been through this pandemic. We've all had anxiety. We've all been worried about stuff. Imagine you didn't have access to healthcare. Imagine you had no access to news, like reputable news. Imagine you had access to nothing, and all you had was
like your president.
That's why he's
What if your
in
president
the 7.
was your reputable news?
Dear Mr.
God.
President, you're a fuckwit.
Do you drink MMS? Do you drink MMS? Do you drink MMS?
Well, you should, because I'm putting you in a bucket and you're going to have to drink it. And that's my
How can you
sentence.
say?
How can you say any children were left behind? Well, of course they were left behind because I was too busy worrying about putting a wall up. Oh, my God.
Correct.
Anyway, I digress on my political issues.
He's a
Well
father
played,
marker.
though. Well digressed. Good chat.
Dear Mr. President, we're in a caravan park.
Would you come caravanning? Would you come caravanning? Would you come caravanning? We've got a park. It is
And-
a water park.
It's a water park. You're going to love it. And then we
And
push
we
them all
treat
in.
coronavirus.
And their
You're
heads
gonna
are
love it.
pushed
You're
up.
gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
Apparently it was fine. They told everyone it was fine.
Fine.
It's
It's
just fine, isn't it? It's fine. It's
It'll be
fine.
fine. Just gobble it up.
I'm sorry. You've got diarrhea. You've got nausea. You feel really sick. Well, it's fine. It's fine. You told us it was fine. So take that.
You get some
No,
brain damage, but it's normal.
You've got no
You should
esophagus. You've got
expect
no
that.
gut.
Use it for your kids.
Yeah, take that, motherfuckers. Done. That's my sentence. Right.
Ouch.
I love
So,
And they're like, it's corrosive as hell. And damn right, it's as corrosive as hell. It's MMS, but I'll have to charge you.
Yeah, and they're like, it's killing my kids, and we're like, it's killing our kids.
Damn right, I could teach you, but I'd have to charge.
I could kill you, but I'd have to charge.
Carla's been working on that for a while, so let's let her have a run at it.
MMS brings all the boys to the yard. Chloride, it's better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours. I could treat you, but I'd have to charge. La 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 la.
The boys are burning.
Slowly burning. La 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 la.
They're dying
My
hard.
throat is burning. La 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 la. My stomach's corroding. La 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 la. 28%. There we go.
Such a good song.
Brilliant.
No
Well
wonder,
done.
no
Such
wonder
a
it was
good
a
song.
hit.
What a skill.
Oh,
What a
there you go.
skill.
Khalees will be loving it, I'm sure.
All right.
Oh,
well,
God.
that episode didn't go the way I expected, but it went exceptionally well. As it turned out.
What I would like to
Maybe a bit of
say is, Schmidty, you've got a number of these up your sleeve should we need them. And if you enjoyed this as opposed to a little bit of death and murder and whatnot, let us know and maybe we'll bring some of them back.
And you could do part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4.
Oh,
Damn
I think
right.
that's
It's better than
than
yours.
Yeah, I can do that. And let us know. And as I say, and you say, miss you already.
You're ready.
Chop, chop,
I rub
guys.
you wrong time.
Aye. Ciao. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Trial by Wine. You can contact us at trialbywine@gmail.com. Please rate, review, and subscribe to Trial by Wine on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. If you'd like to support us, you can become a patron at www.patreon.com, Trial by Wine, or visit our website www.trialbywine.com to donate to us. Your support will help us cover many more cases and apply wacky sentences. We really appreciate you listening and hope you tell everyone about us. Our cover art is by John Christo and music is by Beauchamp from pixabay.com.